So, today we're going to dive into the story of what you might call the perfect candidate. I mean, this is a man who, by all accounts, was just born to be king. He had the family, he had the looks, he had the presence. But what happens when that perfect exterior is hiding something flawed on the inside? Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Think Strong Bible study. It is so good to have you with us again as we open up this incredible ancient story and see what powerful truths we can find for our own lives today. Have you ever met someone who just seemed perfect on paper? They've got the right background, they've got the look, the perfect resume. I mean, they just check every single box. Well, today we're going to meet the biblical equivalent of that exact person. Okay, first up, the ideal candidate. Let's meet the man of the hour, Eliab. So let's just start with his name, Eliab. It means God is Father. I mean, right off the bat, that suggests a person with a strong, righteous family line, right? It's a name that comes with some seriously high expectations. And when you look at his resume, wow, it is absolutely spotless. As the firstborn son of Jesse, he was the primary heir, the guy destined for leadership. And yeah, you see it there. He was also the older brother of a certain shepherd boy we all know named David. And it wasn't just his family connections. The guy literally looked the part. The scripture describes him as a man of tall stature and magnificent appearance. Now, you got to remember, back then, a king was expected to be this big, formidable warrior leading from the front. Eliab was the perfect poster boy for strength and royalty. His presence was so commanding, so powerful, that it even fooled the prophet Samuel. Samuel, this great man of God, takes one look at him and thinks, surely, this has to be the Lord's anointed. If someone as spiritually in tune as Samuel was convinced, you can just imagine the impression Eliab made on everyone else. But this is where the story takes a massive turn. It's all about what God sees. So you've got the perfect resume, the kingly look, even the prophet's endorsement, and yet God rejected him. Can you just imagine the shock in that room? The big question is, why? And here it is. This is the reason, a lesson that just echoes through the centuries. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. This is the core truth we're digging into today. This chart here just breaks it down perfectly, doesn't it? We as humans, we see the outside stuff, the appearance, the height, the resume. God sees what's on the inside, the heart, the character, the real motives. It's such a fundamental difference in perspective, and it's not just for back then, it's for right now. We scroll through polished profiles and judge people by their job titles, but this story just screams at us to look deeper. Okay, so if his heart was the real issue here, what was the evidence? I mean, where do we actually see the problem? Let's take a look. The story pulls back that kingly curtain, and it reveals that underneath it all, something else was brewing inside Eliab, a heart just filled with anger and jealousy. That magnificent appearance, it was basically a mask. And the proof really comes out when his younger brother David shows up at the battlefield. Eliab doesn't welcome him, he just lashes out in anger, accusing David of having a proud and wicked heart. And that outburst, that flash of anger, it reveals everything, all the jealousy and resentment that was simmering in his own heart. Those were the very traits that made him totally unfit to be king. So, that's the story of Eliab. Now, let's bring it home a little bit. It's your turn for some reflection. Eliab's story is such a powerful, powerful reminder for us. In a world where we spend so much time and energy crafting our image, curating our social media, and building up our resumes, this ancient story tells us that what truly matters, what God values most, is what's on the inside. That's what he's looking at. So as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with a couple things to think about. First, from everything we've looked at today in the story of Eliab, what sticks out to you? What's the one thing that really jumped out? And second, the big one, how can you apply this lesson to your life? Where in your world might you be focusing a little too much on the outside and maybe not enough on the inside? Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time.